Okay, what I do when I'm going to set up a drawing is when I use a book like this. I like that I can open it up and get a full sheet of paper without having to carry around a big sketchbook. So I open it up, and the first thing I do is put in a horizontal line, which basically functions close to a horizon line. And to get that line level, which I think is really important because it kind of squares the drawing up to the page, and generally it looks better, I think, that way. And I put that line in by using my finger along the bottom of the page, and I drag the pencil across like that, and I get a pretty level line. And then I try to, if I'm drawing, let's say, some kind of a space, let's say you're in Rome, you're going to draw a piazza, and there's a building in the background. I'm thinking of a one-point perspective here. You basically would try to figure out the proportions of the building that you're looking at in the distance, and it might be a little bit low, so I'll put in another horizon line up here. This is sort of in kind of what Maurice was telling you all, of sort of setting up these grid lines that you can work from. Then you can find the vanishing point, which is usually you can tell it's kind of straight ahead at eye level. Let's say maybe somewhere there. Always try to get that off center a little bit so it doesn't look so boring. And then you can use a book or your pencil or anything and kind of get the angle of the building you're looking at, so you can actually transfer that down to the sheet, and you get a sense of where that vanishing point is. And of course, as you know from Maurice's exercises with the red pencil, all of these lines are vanishing to that point. And and then excuse me, oh gosh, can't get over this cold. You get these lines going in that way, and then what I think most people struggled with last year was not realizing that the vanishing point is at eye level. They were very often drawing a view in the city, and they were like up at the second or third floor of the building rather than at eye level. So here, their person would be here, or if it were closer, it would be there. And I think it makes a much more compelling drawing, that it looks more realistic in a sense, or believable, if you have it down at the level where at your eye level. So I'm just making this up. It's just kind of for example, kind of a drawing. But this would give you an idea of how to set the drawing up in terms of finding the vanishing point by using this a book, or I'm going to show you in the class a folding carpenter's rule, which you can buy in Rome or take with you. And then the other thing you do is try to figure out the proportion of this end wall, and I drew it arbitrarily. It's not quite a square, but you always I always try to do this. It's a square plus, in this case, maybe about a square and a third. So, and you do that by holding your pencil up like this, and you measure the height of something with your pencil, and without changing the distance to your eye, you turn the pencil that way, and you get the width of it. So height to width, you get a square, and then you look at the thing you're drawing, so it's a square plus or less some dimension that gives you the proportion of the wall in relation to a square. So it really helps set the thing up. And then you can begin to divide this, in half, or this is, I think, what Maurice was showing you all. And then if there are 5 windows, it's very easy to do fives or odd numbers, because you put a space in the middle and then you divide it there. So it's 1, 2, it's kind of small, 3, 4, 5, and then maybe these are the windows. And you kind of build whoops, missed a drawing here. You you kind of look at these proportions as a way of building the drawing. You don't have to be a creative artiste, to make a nice drawing, if you approach it very simply by getting the proportions correctly and by getting the vanishing point in the right spot. And I'm going to show you, show you some examples of my own drawings of where this technique is used. I do like leaving the guidelines in. I think the idea of the red lines is really nice, because particularly when you're kind of beginning to do this, you get a sense of the relationship of the finished drawing to the construction lines. But they don't have to be red. They just should be light, so that and then as you continue to work on the drawing, you make it heavier, where you where the important lines are, and I think and then you know when it's very important when you're doing the drawing to make a line that is not so boring and consistent, but maybe has a little bit of a shake in it. Like for example, when I like putting a border around my drawings, and when I do it, I don't worry about it being a little crooked or jittery. I think it actually adds something to the line, and a lot of times I'll just deliberately fiddle around with them to give it a little bit of an interest. Important thing in a drawing is the line value is always going somewhere from light to dark, and the tones generally, if you're toning the drawing, would do the same thing, so that there's not a kind of evenness, overall evenness that tends to reduce the interest in the drawing. And don't forget, you don't have to draw everything. The thing that you leave out in the drawing is oftentimes more important than what you draw. Got it?